Imagine this. It's 1946. The war is over. The country is buzzing. Baseball is back. Not just in the big leagues, but in small towns across America. In Abbeville, Louisiana, the Athletics are putting together the season of their lives. 82 wins, a playoff berth, and a chance at glory. But just as the town is ready to celebrate, whispers ripple through the stands. Players meeting with gamblers, strange errors in big games, and soon accusations explode into one of the darkest scandals in small-town baseball history. Welcome back to Friday Night Lore, where we uncover the biggest legends and the strangest scandals in sports history, one small town at a time. And tonight we're going to head deep into Vermilion Parish, Louisiana, to tell the story of how Abbeville, the Athletics specifically, went from playoff heroes to the center of a gambling scandal that rocked the Evangeline League and left a permanent scar in their legacy. Welcome back, everybody. I'm super excited, and you're probably thinking, Friday Night Lore, what is this all about? Well, what we do here is we just randomly generate a town using our website that we talked about last week, and it gives us a random town. And then we take that town and we do a deep dive into what we think, in our opinion, is the greatest sports moment in that town. The possibilities, they're endless. We're going to discover small towns, big towns. We could go from Cleveland talking about the 10-cent beer night. We could jump over to New York City. We could jump into where we are, Abbeville. And this is super exciting. I love it. What better way to start your Friday than some sports history? So let's go ahead and jump into this, because this one is unbelievable. This was something that I had never heard about, and I've done the Passball podcast. I am a baseball history nut, and for some reason I hadn't came across this story, and I'm excited to do this one because we're going to travel all the way back to 1946. The world just emerged from World War II. Soldiers, they're coming home, families, they're rebuilding, in baseball. America's pastime is surging back into the heart of everyday life. For small town Louisiana, that meant the return of the Evangeline League. Pretty sure I'm saying that. Evangeline. Pronunciation isn't my thing. Listen, I'm going to deep dive into some stories. I'm going to say some words wrong. Bear with me. But either way, this league is a Class D minor league that stretched across the Cajun country. Teams, they didn't have the money or the glamour of the majors, but they had something just as powerful. You know what they had? They had hometown pride. And in Abbeville, the Athletics were the crown jewel. The season, they put up an impressive record. 82 wins, 48 losses. And they actually clinched third place in the standings, which meant a ticket straight to the playoffs. For a town like Abbeville, this was everything. Shops closed early on game days. Families packed the stands. Baseball wasn't just a sport. It was the heartbeat of the community. And picture this. I mean, they didn't have your phone. They didn't have all this short form content. They lived for this. It's America's pastime. And everybody in America loved baseball, from the bigs to these small towns. So let's go ahead. It's the first round of the playoffs. Abbeville faced off against the Natchez Giants. The Athletics battled hard, taking the series, and they actually advanced to the finals against the powerhouse Homa Indians. And the Indians, they had dominated the regular season. They were expected to just roll through Abbeville. But here's where the story gets a little bit murky. Game after game, strange things started to happen. Routine fly balls, they were dropped. Players, they struck out on pitches that they would normally crush. Then there was the costly errors, and they started to pile up in crucial innings. That kind of mistakes, they started to make fans shift in their seats, and they started to mutter, something's not right. And then those whispers, they started turning to headlines. Papers were big back then, folks. And after the season ended, the Indians, they defeated Abbeville 4-1. And Abbeville owner I.M. Goldberg dropped the bombshell. He alleged that players from both the Indians and Abbeville Athletics, they actually conspired with gamblers to fix playoff games. And the accusations, they were very, very specific, because the Indians allegedly threw Game 4 of their first round series against the Athletics. Alexandria before this. They were also suspected of deliberately losing game 1 of the finals against Abbeville. And then, the most damning of all, both teams were accused of tampering in game 4 of the finals. The finger of the blame was now pointed not just at the Indians, but actually the Athletics itself. And by January 1947, the scandal had reached the desk of Judge W.G. Bramham, head of the National Association of Professional Baseball Leagues. Hearings were held. Testimonies, they were given. Players, they denied wrongdoing. But suspicions mounted. 5 men were ultimately named. 4 Indians, Bill Thomas, Lanny Picot, Alvin Kaiser, and Paul Fugit. Fugit. One sounds like a bad word. We're going to go with Fugit. All right? And then there was only one Abbeville Athletic, Don Vetterell, which was the team's catcher. The evidence wasn't ironclad. There were actually no confessions of throwing games outright. But they ruled that there was sufficient conduct that was detrimental to baseball to act. All 5 of the players were declared ineligible in any organized baseball. In short, they were banned. The scandal hit Abbeville like a hurricane. Fans who had roared for their team, they felt betrayed. The playoff run, once a source of pride, became a cloud of suspicion. The Athletics carried on a few more seasons, but the spirit, it was broken. And by 1950, the team was gone, folded, erased from the standings, leaving behind only memories and rumors. 2 of the Indian players, Bill Thomas and Lanny Picot, were reinstated in 1949, allowed to return to the game. Thomas, he even went on to set minor league records for wins and losses. But the Abbeville Athletics never got its redemption. Instead, the Athletics became a cautionary tale, proof that even in the smallest towns under the Friday night lore, the temptations of gambling could tear apart the dream of a community. So we're going to do a quick little Friday Night Lore rankings. Legend value, we're going to give it a 4.5. KS factor, let's go with a 7.9 because gamblers' accusations and, careers were derailed. Hometown glory, 7.2. It was a town that rallied, only to be betrayed. And that's the story of the Abbeville Athletics, a team that reached for glory, only to be dragged down by scandal. From heroes to suspects in a single season, rise, their fall. It reminds us in sports as in life, the line between triumph and tragedy can be razor thin. This has been Friday Night Lore. Join us next time as we uncover another random forgotten moment from a random town that our generator decides. And we're going to just find the shadows of sports history in this lovely country. That's all we got. We'll be back next week. Take care, everybody.